Hello and welcome to Love from the Other Side. If you are on this video, perhaps you too are in need of healing and hope. We bring you stories from around the world of people who have shared their near-death experiences. While you may not agree with everything they share, we ask that all comments be kept respectful and kind. With that said, let's get started with today's video. This experience is a testimony from Maureen, who, after overdosing on pills, shares her visit with God and the angels. I prayerfully requested guidance and inspiration to recall and recount my journey to the other side to share with you now. I humbly leave descriptions of what I beheld in awe to artists to visualize or create imagery. The artist Daniel Holman seems to depict images similar to what I saw and experienced in heaven. Sensing the rapture that beautiful music evokes as waves is the nearest I may come to describing how breathtaking God appears and how melodious God resonates. Everything around me was light and ethereal and warm and alive. Light was clearer and brighter than I had ever seen. Colors were beyond vibrant. I felt no fear. I felt no pain. I felt no judgment. I felt no blame. I felt no shame. I felt no fear here. Profound love and peace permeated every being everywhere. What I know to be the energy of angels greeted me with the tenderest, warmest energy. I felt embraced by them. They morphed into billowy forms and surrounded me. Their hearts glowed, radiating and pulsing with light of vibrant colors. From my heart, which glowed dimly as well, I could sense, feel, and hear telepathically. I sent an energy wave from my higher heart to the heart of the energy of the angels. They sensed I had a lot of questions for them. I sensed it was okay for me to send them my questions. From glowing heart waves, I asked them if what I was experiencing was real. The angels responded telepathically that their realm was real. I then asked them if I was there with them, if that meant I was dead. They responded telepathically that my body died, so my soul or higher heart was visiting them. For the first time since I arrived, I felt fear, like I had known in the earthly realm, form within my higher heart. They responded to my fear instantly by dissolving it for me. I felt embraced by their energy. I sensed that legions of energy beings with the most subtle presence were sending me comfort. I felt no physical pain here despite my having swallowed 1,300 pills. Angels then explained to me telepathically that they would be accompanying me to the triage area where my higher heart could better acclimate to my body being dead. They shared that people who had passed suddenly or experienced trauma with their passing went to triage. Apparently, mine was a violent jolt of a passing. Angels wrapped me in the warmest, softest blankets that defy human description. I settled and laid wrapped in these blankets. I then rested, listening to the gentle, lovely music of the spheres. I only recall being surrounded by angels who were tending to me. They were focused and worked precisely and silently. They reassured me telepathically that all was well. They worked to balance my energy in my light body to start to heal my higher heart and soul. I did not sense other souls with me in this triage room. I had this gentle place all to myself. As they worked, I felt safe once again. I would say that I laid there as they floated, yet floating does not feel entirely accurate. The angels knew and sensed what I needed. There was no need for me to send them messages or waves. When I formulated a thought, they heard me. Their energy was always present with me. I rested, lying quietly, sensing that I was never alone, which comforted me immensely. I trusted them. I loved them. Their movements were graceful and their intent always benevolent towards my highest good. When the angel energies that balanced my light body finished their work, they gently departed. I lay peacefully surrounded by blankets as celestial music filled all of my senses. There was no device, stereo, or equipment present upon which to play music, or at least one was not visible. Yet I knew that music was arriving in waves that were otherworldly in origin. I sensed that the angel's energy would return to guide me. Time and space that exist in the human realm did not exist in this angel energy space. I had no earthly idea or indicator of how much time passed. I received more love, grace, peace, and unconditional acceptance telepathically than words can ever begin to imagine. It seemed as though every part of my energy was being restored and renewed. I was starting to understand on more levels. As I began to accept my earthly body's passing, waves of warmth and comfort embraced me. There was no more work to be done. I rested as music and light swirled in and around me. The waves of music danced through me. A different group of angels then came to guide me to the next phase on my journey. I sent thanks telepathically to the triage angels who had helped me. These angels requested that I observe and notice. I sensed that this was a space where no earthly judgment exists, just discernment. They advised me that it was vital that I understand or absorb this concept before I proceeded. They assured and reassured me that all was well. Then I was asked to practice to send fear or judgment to something or someone. I did so. I watched them radiate energy from their glowing hearts to the fear and judgment I created. That fear and judgment I had sent dissolved in an instant before my eyes. No denser energy or light could exist in me as my light body. They asked me to observe that the light in my higher heart had become somewhat brighter. It was no longer as faint or dim as it had been when I arrived in the triage. I thanked them telepathically for teaching me these light lessons. I sensed that it was important that I grasp and apply this skill as thoroughly as I was able so that I could flow through and complete this next phase with ease and grace. I start to feel and sense images as vibrations as they appeared before me. I asked the angels that were accompanying me telepathically if this was a life review. They responded it was indeed my life review. They gently advised me to feel love in my heart space. Then I watched images of me flash before me. I braced as I expected the worst scenarios and images of me to appear. I telepathically thanked the energy of the angels when the images stopped appearing. I sensed that I had created denser energies in my human form. Yet the images did not unnerve me. They concerned me. I wondered what happens in the space of love and light to the images I had created. Nothing could ever prepare me for the next phase that began to emerge. A robe of light began forming and clothing me. All of the energy as angels began donning similar light robes. We could see our higher hearts as lights that glowed and beamed through our light robes. I believe that the pale color that appeared as an overlay of light on the robes indicated what our ray or role was. Our hues and vibrations varied depending on our ray or role that we chose to assume there. Our higher hearts shined in every vibrant color of the rainbow. The light glowing within my higher heart had intensified, yet was dimmer than the angels' light, which glowed immensely and was intensely bright and vibrant. We proceeded as the angels guided me to another space that was vast. A crystal temple of light that shone more radiant than the sun began to appear before me and the angels. It radiated even purer energy and light. It sparkled and glittered. I bowed my head to avert my eyes because the light was that magnificent. When I looked up, I saw the tallest, brightest, luminous angels who had formed a semicircle in front of me. From their circle of love and light, they each beamed light and spoke telepathically to my higher heart. They asked me to raise my partially bowed head so that they may address me. As I hesitated to fix my gaze upon them, they reminded me that this was a space where I was welcome and loved completely. They asked me to feel and breathe in the love that they were sending me. It took immense courage for me to behold them. I was so in awe of their beauty and brilliance. The members of this council of light beamed more love from their hearts to me. They telepathically asked me just one more question and looped light from their hearts to mine as they did so. They asked me, "Did you create joy during your life on earth?" I once again bowed my head. I responded with a resounding no that came from my higher heart. I had not ever created joy while I was alive, not one bit. I thought to myself that I knew how to spell the word joy. That was as close as I would come to joy. It was not an emotion that I felt, so it was not important to me. I never gave joy a thought. I grasped the concept of joy, but I do not think that I ever experienced joy firsthand. Would I even recognize joy if it shook my hand and introduced itself to me, I wondered. Then the internal dialogue I was creating was enjoyed by the angels. I knew what laughter was, at least I thought to myself. I sensed not to judge or take myself too seriously. I had watched as judgment stopped the flow of energy and light and made vibration denser in the life review phase of my visit. They radiated and sent pure love to my higher heart. The pure love they sent my way instantly dissolved the shame and blame that was forming in my higher heart towards the choices I made in life. They thanked me telepathically and explained that all of my choices were honored. They asked me to lift my eyes and hold my head high. They affirmed that I was loved by God as they sent waves of pure love towards me. They asked me telepathically if I loved God. I responded that I did love God. I did not hesitate for an instant when I responded. I counted that there were 12 energies as angels on this radiant council. They assured me that I would come to accept, become, and share pure love as they had. I was worthy to receive and express radiant God love. I telepathically thanked the council and God, radiating love and gratitude to them from my higher heart. I beamed at the very notion that I may learn to create joy on earth in my way in my life. The energious angels that had escorted me to this temple of radiant light emerged and joined me. We gently moved back from the awesome council of radiant light. As we traveled, these angels ever so gently reminded me to observe what was absent from this space. I watched as any energy of fear, blame, and doubt dissipated and dissolved instantly in this pure love vibration that existed everywhere. The angels informed me that a question was forming around me in my higher heart. They telepathically explained that I was faced with a choice that only I could make from my higher heart. They asked me, would I remain with them in this expanded higher heart energy, or would I return to my earthly form? They explained that I had agreed to the terms of a higher heart contract that my soul had agreed to complete before I was born. We made all these agreements whether we were conscious of doing so or not. But because God honors all choices and we reside on a planet that has free will, I had unconsciously chosen to terminate my contract years earlier than I had agreed before birth. I may have had many years on earth that remain on my higher heart contract. They explained that because I had shortened my agreement by exiting earlier than was contracted before birth, I would be able to observe everything that would have occurred during my life had I chosen to live to fulfill my original contract, but that I would be unable to assist or intervene in any way, shape, or form. I would, in essence, be frozen and unable to act until the time that I reached the age of my original contract. At that time of my agreed upon time of transition or death, I would be able to proceed freely. Please understand that God honors all of our choices. This was a soul contract whose terms were being honored for my highest good towards the highest good of all. No limitation or punishment was ever intended, implied, or enacted ever. I felt love through my entire being as the angel explained the terms of my soul agreement to me. I experienced no judgment or blame or punishment whatsoever in this expanded energy. Only love exists there if we choose to consciously connect to our higher source of light, energy, and vibration. As I absorbed this information, I sensed and felt that my early, shocking passing would cause my earth parents considerable hurt and pain beyond what I would have ever imagined or intended for them. With this in my mind, I consciously chose to leave a space of pure radiating love and endless peace. The angels explained to me that my body would not experience symptoms from my overdose, my sadness would dissolve over time, and my anxiety would heal over time. If that was not enough, they added that I would help eliminate depression through my ancestral lines so that we were all released from its grips and struggles. Depression and substance abuse were rampant in my extended families, so much so that my dad always reminded me to be aware and to monitor my activity. They also explained that spiritual gifts that were dormant in me would now be activated. Upon my return, I would serve God and be guided. They reminded me that they loved me as God did and gave me an energy embrace. I thanked them telepathically for their love and felt energy hugs from them once again. In the same instant as I chose to return to the earth to honor my pre-birth agreement, I found myself before the council. God in radiant light was now at the center of the semicircle with the same council of light. There are no human words that could ever express or begin to capture the essence of God as love and light. Perhaps endless energy expansion. God lovingly and firmly asked me if I would be of service. I responded that I would be of service with my whole heart. I affirmed that I would love and serve God always and always. I felt and sensed God and the surrounding council rejoicing as I responded from pure love. I asked them telepathically if I could create what I was experiencing there for myself on earth. That was all that I chose. To feel that vibrant sense of pervasive peace within me was my sole request. I telepathically thanked God, the angels, and my higher heart self for hosting me on this visit and activating spiritual gifts within me. I had no idea what doing so meant at the time. I told people when I returned awake and aware of my consciousness connection, but I did not arrive equipped with an instruction manual or a roadmap. I was grateful to have an active connection, yet my learning process was gradual. I would encounter many obstacles along my path. I would now have a chance to consciously create subtle joy in my own way on earth. I would start to own my power and find and express my voice over time. I have never felt separate or disconnected from God as my infinite source of love since my visit. In an instant, I returned to earth conscious of my connection to God as my I am presence was activated. I am beyond grateful to be healthy and wholly recovered. I experienced no long-term effects from the pills I had ingested. I am now a project consultant, a spiritual counselor, and a non-denominational minister. Also, a divinely perfect, imperfect work in progress. Thank you all for allowing me to share part of my journey towards becoming conscious with you. I hope doing so has uplifted, inspired, informed, or blessed you to continue on your unique spiritual path. May you know that you are a spiritual being having a human experience. May you feel that you are loved and embraced. May you experience that God loves you just as you are. May you live fully and expressly, radiantly as love expanding. May you create from your own unique space of joy. God as love is calling me now to serve from my connected higher heart in the seen realms. So here I am. I am Maureen. Well, that is our testimony for today. Thank you for sticking around. I know that this is a little bit longer than the ones that we have shared thus far. I hope that it inspired you and gave you hope and healing for the broken parts of your heart. Until next time.